Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So hello dear friends, welcome back to NPTEL online course on logistics and supply chain management. So today now we have reached towards the end of this logistics chapter, where we have explored different functional area under logistics management. We have seen the industry scenario, we have talked about the international logistics, we talked specifically about the e-commerce industry. So now we'll talk about what are the future trends, what are the drivers or driving forces, factors which are forcing us to keep on renovating, innovating our logistics distribution network, right? So today we'll try to conclude this chapter with the latest research directions in the field of logistics management, right? So we'll try to cover, we'll spend a couple of sessions again on this, discussing about, again just brief intro from where this logistics concept started. If we'll talk about the modern logistics, what are the key stakeholders which are coming very prominently in logistics industry. We'll talk about some modern logistics concepts, and then we'll talk about the factors which are working as driving forces to change our logistics strategies every day. We'll talk about the trends in logistics industry, so overall view, and then we'll talk about special focus in Indian logistics industry, right? So we'll talk about definitely challenges what modern logistics now facing. And in the end, we'll talk about some performance measures, how we are evaluating our modern logistics system right now. And we'll end this discussion with some small cases, right, we were doing earlier. So let's start with the history, just quick overview. Actually, after World War II, so many of the countries, they realized that they were having the enough resources, but somewhere they lagged with how they could use those resources in that optimum way. So maybe the result may be different in that way, right? So they faced that this optimal utilization of the resources as well as the coordination among the various stakeholders working in that complete supply chain, that could not be achieved somehow, and the major part we were lagging there. And obviously the technological integration was not at that level, so we can understand. So these were some of the failures or drawback they investigated, especially talking about the military context, right? So then they started shifting towards the computing capability, how we can go for mathematical modeling, and we can use different softwares. If you talk about warehouse management, how we can use warehouse management softwares, transportation management softwares, inside the warehouse, inside the container, how we can utilize the maximum capacity, we can track the unutilized capacity, and in that way we can design the packaging, or we can design the total complete load which we are going to ship in that particular container. So many algorithms we as a part of operation research, like we have algorithm for assignment problem, which market should be supplied from which factory. Then we have transportation algorithm, how we can pick the best route considering the distance, considering the road condition, considering the weather conditions, all those things, and then we can minimize the transportation cost. We have other methods, queuing theory, and we have simplex method where we can utilize all those operation research tool to go mathematically, so that the subjectivity can be removed totally when we are going for decision making, and we can be more objective in that way, right? So we try to grow professionally in that way, and then we realize that it is not that area that today I am manufacturing something, let's start distributing the product of our own, right. So this is area which requires special attention, because if you see almost 50 to 60% of the cost this your supply chain is contributing. If you see 60 to 70% cost, including your raw material sourcing, including your manufacturing, including your transportation, distribution, warehousing, order management from the customer, doing the doorstep delivery, right. So this much cost if one functional area is taking, obviously it becomes very important that we need to address this in more professional approach, right. So now, as the local transporters, we cannot do that, we cannot handle our product or services of our own. So let us outsource this to some professional agency which is known as third party logistics services provider. We talked about first party logistics, second party, third party, and the evolution towards the sixth party logistics services, where they are completely taking care of our complete supply chain, including the manufacturing, raw material supply, and to the end customer. And then they are doing the decision making analysis as well based on the information they are collecting from the market. So those kind of professional services are required when we are talking about the modern logistics. So it is not that anyone can come and can handle those things. And when you are saying talking about these stalwarts, so obviously UPS, FedEx, Walmart, Flipkart, Amazon, eBay, how delivery, how they have changed the overall scenario, right. So e-cart, how they have changed the overall scenario. So in that way, if your competitor is having access to the expertise and you are still going with your traditional way where you are delivering your food packets of your own, you are having the restaurant, you are delivering the food packets, and then your partner is collaborating with Swiggy, with Zomato, with other courier services, right. So you can see how much efficiently you can work, how much efficiently you can focus on your key area, your competency, and then how can be you efficient when you are talking about the transportation and distribution services, which is totally your unknown area, right. So over the time, when we talk about e-logistics, now it has come that development of RFID technology or API technology, or we are talking about automated systems, right. So Internet of Things, so we are talking about, so these are some of the platforms which are driving the next stage distribution or logistics platform. So here I have included some video links. You guys can just quickly go through these videos and then we'll continue our discussion on the topic. So you can just see in that video what I was talking about makes more sense when you say why we are failing with inventory keeping stocks, why our products are getting obsolete in the inventory itself, why we are damaging the products in the handling when we are talking about warehouse management, why we are talking about 100 people are working just searching the products, items, and then picking the product, taking time to package that product, and then again shipping. Why can't we do it automatically where there will be no manpower involved, robots will be handling the products? In that way we can be error proof, and then we can manage the inventory as well, where stock rotation can be ensured so that no product goes obsolete in the warehouse only. So these are some of the the latest trends. We have to, as a player in any industry, we have to move toward that innovation, right. So let's talk about categories of modern day logistics. So now we are supposed to provide multifaceted approach, right, and we need to handle so many different activities related to the consumption, production, and distribution of the goods within city or outside the city. We cannot say that our coverage is not in that area. So when we are talking about your wide coverage network, so obviously there will be variation in the city size, there will be variation in the geography, economy, culture, politics, right. If any part of the world you are operating, political instability is there. If that area is very prone to natural disasters. If something means wrong, maybe with the economy, fluctuations, right, economy policy, something goes wrong, and then you need to take care. So any disruption is happening in that way. So this logistics network these days is going to be very diverse and going to be very complex, right? So these are the forces which are driving. So talking about some of the major area, or maybe you can say industries which are coming with these or where we need to be in that way very efficient, is kind of retail, right? Retail, either you are going through your fragmented stores or you are going through your one-stop solution market. So in that way you have to ensure the smooth supply of the product. But how you can ensure the smooth supply? When your supply chain is having that information, what type of items are required, how many items are required, what is the quality level expected from the customers, right? And what are the delivery patterns, right? In small lots they are buying, or they are buying in big lots, right? So that will help you to design your next stage logistics network. Talking about consumer shopping trips, this is also now frequently happening, that you are visiting, you want to go out with your family, right? And then in the meanwhile you are visiting the grocery store, you are visiting the apparel industry or store, or you are visiting any other shop, right? In that one mall you are visiting all those shops, right? So we are designing now in these days in that way, so that if the customer is visiting that particular mall, he can almost address all the problems or issues related to his demand at one place, right? So now when they are moving towards different stores, right? So obviously they will pick the items. So then as that store, we are making this promise that you can just pick the stock and then we will deliver you that stock at your doorstep. That is also one very prominent model if we talk about the grocery items especially, right? So obviously this will ensure more again energy consumption, right? Then you can take the courier or services as well, and either you take delivery, e-cart or UPS, those kind of global players are there, which they are handling those stocks or sometimes doing the cross docking, right, just to distribute them. Talking about the industry, hotel, restaurant, catering, you are aware about Zomato, you are aware about Swiggy, right? You are even aware about those exclusive showrooms or outlets which in food industry only, where they are ensuring the delivery within 30 minutes, right? If you talk about Domino's Pizza, right, McD. So those kind of promises, either they are collaborating with the local partner or they are having their own distribution network, whatever way they are working, right? But this is a kind of industry emerging, like we discussed about the example where we don't have, customer is not having that much time where every day or other day they can go in the restaurant and sit for 2 hours and enjoy that meal, whatever he wants to take, right? That time is limited now. So now hotels are coming to your doorstep. So that is another very emerging area. So obviously now we are getting matured in this area, but how we can combine more orders to be more efficient in that way, right? And then we can ensure the free delivery home packets, these food packets, right? Talking about construction, if you are talking about construction in some rural areas, semi-urban areas, still it is easy. But if you are talking about construction within the city, so all logistic related problems are there. Where you will store the material? This is first point. Even you can ensure the raw material supply, but the area is not enough to store the raw material. So in that way, so you need some temporary storage centers or some third party who is storing all the raw material related to construction. Whenever you will say kind of just in time services we can provide you in the urban area as well, avoiding all the traffic and whatever restrictions are there, we cannot move. This is another area, because very close to me, I work in this area of waste management, circular economy, designing the closed loop supply chain. So again, waste management is a kind of supply chain which includes your collection of the waste, obviously from households. The next step is your segregation, which is very, very important to segregate the wet waste from the dry waste, to segregate the infectious waste from the non-infectious waste. So these kind of so many different segregations are there, right? depending upon the category, so that we can use some waste as fertilizer, we can use some of the waste maybe for road metalling purpose, we can maybe some of the waste we can again recycle, remanufacture, reuse. So those kind of things we can ensure only when we are ensuring segregation after the collection of the waste. Then again it is being transported to the waste treatment facilities, where we will be treating the waste, and if not directly to the waste treatment facility, maybe in between we are having warehouses, we are storing the waste temporarily. From that warehouse maybe some part will go to the treatment facility where we will do the final treatment, some part will go maybe for composting purpose to the composting plant, some part may go for maybe recycling purpose, plastic part, some part may go for road metalling purpose, depending upon the how you have done the segregation, right. So this is complete supply chain waste management. So obviously this is again another industry which is coming as very promising, because when we are talking about reusing the used products, so if you talk about the economics of that, so the usually the industries are 5 times more profitable, many reports are there, they are 5 times more profitable than getting the fresh raw material and again manufacturing the product. Then talking about industrial and terminal haulage, so in cities we have some distribution centers, we have hubs where we are temporarily storing that products, or industrial products even, if you are talking about supplies to the industries, so that those also we are storing, right. So who are the stakeholders in the modern logistics? So obviously first who wants to ship the product, and then who wants to receive the product. Those are two prominent players. Now shippers, they are having their own demands, and those demands are obviously driving from the customer. How customer is expecting in that way, in terms of lead time, in terms of cycle time, in terms of the quantity he wants, in terms of the frequency, how frequently he is buying, right, in terms of the delivery options, when he wants the product, maybe in the evening hours, in the maybe 2 to 3, or at what time they want, and what quality they want, right. And after sales services, if any kind of network is there, then again you need to ensure the after sales services how you can provide to your customer, right. And that also you need to address all these issues at the minimum cost. You cannot say that because we are providing you frequent delivery, we will be charging you the delivery cost, right. So obviously as Amazon customer, Flipkart customer, your first thing is, whenever you are picking product, you randomly check your buying behavior. First you are checking whether the free return is available or not, whether I can return that product or not. If something is not good with the quality, or the fabric I am wearing not comfortable, size, so many different things can be there, right. So that is first thing. And second thing is how easily I can return that product, right. And then payment options also. So if I am doing the payment, how quickly I will get that money back in my wallet, whether it is Amazon wallet or to my personal account, right. Then another stakeholder is carrier, who is taking your product from the manufacturer to your doorstep. Now during that, this is now the old school of thought, when we talk about during that transportation, who cares about how we are handling the packets, how you are handling my packet, I want to see. Now the level should be like that. I want to see where you are dropping my packet, where you are picking my packet, how you are handling throughout the distribution network. So all those things include a basket that is in the end coming up with the quality of services you are providing, right. And then public authorities, again very important stakeholders, because whatever infrastructure we are using to transport, either through ship, either through air, either through rail, either through your road, so that infrastructure has to be ensured by these regulatory authorities only, your public authorities. And not only this much, then to need the there is need to check all these operations, right? If something goes wrong with the customer, I have done the payment, I have not received the product, then you can go to the consumer court, and then again, how good you are with the packaging, how good you are with the sustainability measures, right? If government regulatory authority, they are saying that you have to be environmental friendly, so what are your initiatives towards that? So this again a stakeholder which is playing important role. If you see trend in logistics, so this is how it is improving, and when we are saying from logistics 1.0 to latest concept of logistics 4.0, so then degree of complexity is also increasing day by day. But yes, degree of complexity is there, but then we are not doing it manually. We have softwares, we have robots, we have automated systems which are automatically generating data, processing that information, taking the decision on our behalf, right? So how this industry is evolving, we were talking about steam engine here, and we were locally we were distributing the products, right? So sometimes animal force we were using, then we came to electrical power and we started talking about automation of handling system, right? How we can go for electrical engines and we can make delivery more quickly, more efficiently in that way, right? Then the advent of your computers and IT and change the whole scenario, and now we are talking about warehouse management softwares, we are talking about transportation management software where we can find out the best route, we can minimize the distance, we can minimize the cost, we can minimize the inventory, all those things not manually by using these softwares, right? And then now next is the IoT system, tagging RFID, your cyber physical system. In that way we want to connect in the supply chain that anyone can have the transparency, can if we are talking about the customer, they have the visibility where their product is right now, how their product is flowing, how much time it will take, whether it is on time, it is early, everything. And as a service provider you also want that information so that you can also make the decision will be more informed decisions, right? So talking about trends in logistics, so obviously the basic things those are driving your logistics is automation first, sustainability, technology, right? So these all are some of the latest technology. We'll quickly discuss about these technologies. Elastic logistics. Now why we need third party logistics? So that if today I need to deliver 10 packets of food, I will pay for 10 packets. Tomorrow there is demand and I want to deliver 100 packets, my courier partner will deliver 100 packets. It is their headache how they are going to arrange the manpower, how they are going to arrange the delivery vehicles, but we will pay for 100 orders, right? So if that again challenge is if you will acquire your own resources, so how optimally you can use those resources. So your logistic partner should be elastic enough to give you those tailored solution. Automation, we have been talking about using softwares, minimum human intervention, right? So that inventory, why we are keeping inventory stocks in books, there can be robots. I told you the DHL we discussed, just I showed the video of DHL warehouse where automatically those drones are taking the stocks, how much inventory is left out, where when we need to place the replenishment order, right? Again we need to replenish the inventory. So how many items we need to place, right? Which vendor will get the order? So all those things through automation we can share. Blockchain, if you are implementing, is another parallel digital system, how your product is flowing in the supply chain. Same way blockchain will from the first supplier to the end customer will give you complete picture, transparent picture how it is, and this is an error proof system where fraud cannot happen. This is tampered, anyone cannot interrupt there, or it is tampered proof, right? So those kind of disruptions cannot happen, okay, if we are implementing blockchain enabled supply chain. So smart contracts, if I'm saying that let's say very simple example, I'm getting raw material and from my vendor, and it is coming to my show floor. Before that, it is going for incoming quality control check. If it is okay, we will store this in the storage house, and then the information will go to the accounts department that now it is your lot is accepted. So maybe you can raise the credit note to the vendor, right? So that means this information should be immediately shared with the vendor that now your information has been. So why we cannot go for that? As soon as this IQC, incoming quality control department, is clicking that this lot is okay, automatically your contract should be executed, that the payment should be done to the vendor. So this is a smart contract, right? If human intervention is there, so many documentation is there, obviously it will take time and many stages are there, so time consuming, right? In that way, IoT will again play a very important role. If you talk about how we can share the resources through cloud computing, and then how we can place the order automatically, our software system will analyze the inventory and will place the orders and will maintain all the activities throughout your distribution network. So advanced analytics, predictive analytics, so that we can predict what is going to be the demand. Not only demand function we can predict, we can also predict if there is any disruption that is coming on the way to your distribution network, right? So those kind of things also we can do. Cloud computing, all those software we are not using every day, all those solutions, technology we are, so whenever we need the access we can go for that, right? So easily, because this is large data we are going to generate, right? From the customer and from the distribution partner, from the shipping agency, from the manufacturer, from the warehouse partner, from the raw material part. So huge data is there, but you cannot ignore any part. So you need to track that, you need to process that using your cloud computing, using your big data, right? So in that way, logistics robots, we have seen that how within warehouse you can use the robots to manage the inventory. AI enabled solution combined with Internet of Things, cloud computing, and then your AI techniques will take care of all the decision making. When the product should be shipped, when the product should be packed, how much quantity is required, which part of the pin code, if you are segregating in that way, right? So when you need to place the order for the new raw material, when you need to start the cycle time of that particular model of that product, right? All those decisions you can do that. AR, augmented reality within the warehouse. So huge warehouse spread on maybe 10 kilometers square area. So then if some demand is coming, then all human, because of you are operating manually, so then you are searching the product. Why can't we take the shortest route? We just find out the location and our maybe robot or drone will pick the product and will drop the product at your packaging stage, and easily you can package and deliver, right? So these are some of the GPS, Bluetooth technology, Wi-Fi, cellular network, IoT enabled tracking solutions you can do, you can use, right? So digital twin is usually we use for replicating the practical scenario in your lab, and then you can do all the testing related to how resilient your supply chain is and how quickly you can do that. So here I have included some video links. You guys can just quickly go through these videos and then we'll continue our discussion on the topic. So whenever you are visiting any these kind of multi-brand stores, you might have seen the first very concern that also comes to my mind as well, that if you are visiting on weekends, so you have to wait first for picking the products, maybe for half an hour you will take, and then half an hour another you will be in the queue just to process the bill. So this is another very smart solution. You have designed those trolleys as that as soon as I'm dropping the product in that inside the trolley, automatically bill is being generated. It's keep on adding that. If anything I am taking out, obviously that, and whenever I am picking the product, it is showing you your Amazon rating as well, right? So how other customers are talking about that product. So usually on e-commerce website, this is what you are looking for, right? So talking about recent technology in modern logistics is drones, how you can do the last mile delivery using those drones. Even within the warehouse, how you can connect through all your shelves where you are maintaining the inventory, your drones, robots through Wi-Fi, and then you are managing those depots, and the information is processed that this particular product is required, and these many, maybe 5 quantity required, right. So automatically your drone will go to that shelf, will find out and will deliver you the 5 items, right. And then obviously throughout distribution, your trucks, even if your inventory is traveling through that truck, that should also be tracked, right. So some of the modern logistics concept, first is cold chain logistics system. This is again very challenging task where we need to maintain the temperature throughout, and we are talking about the perishable goods, vegetables or milk products, or we are talking about the medicines in case of vaccines, because if you are not maintaining that quality, so then it may affect the potency of your vaccines, right. So throughout that supply chain you need to maintain the proper temperature, right. So for that we are using special equipment, packaging processes, so that you can ensure that. So what are the main components when we are talking about cold chain supply chain? Temperature control is first thing. See, temperature control not only within that container. If you are shifting your product from one container to other container, then you need to ensure the cold corridor. If you are unloading the product, during that process also, inside the warehouse you are maintaining the temperature. What during unloading, how you will maintain the temperature? So temperature control is very important in that. Packaging, how you can ensure the insulated packaging, so that it should be prone to your outside temperature variation, and that you can maintain the temperature level throughout your journey, right. Monitoring and tracking, so how efficiently you can monitor the data related to your temperature conditions, and if something goes wrong, right, if there is any fluctuation, your system fails during your transportation, your container cold storage system is not working, so then how you can to those contingency, how you will mitigate those risks, right. So that, because if you are carrying that much inventory, so if something goes wrong, so that is cost. Then regulatory compliance are there through, if you are taking any food related item or you are taking any medicine related item, so those kind of initiatives, whatever the guidelines are, you need to follow. Second thing is, we talked about blockchain, how it can improve the efficiency, how it can improve the transparency, traceability, security, right, because these are tamper proof records. And see, if you talk about the supply chain, this is the complete supply chain. When the factory is handing over the product to the supplier, this much information is generated, right. Loading certificate, batch number, processing data, shipment delivery, this information is generated. So let's say for recording these 4 things, we are maintaining 4 different documents. We will handle these documents manually to the supplier. Then supplier again will process that material, and maybe then logistic operator will take care of that. Then again packing list, order number, batch number, everything information will be generated. Then again from logistic operator it is going to long haul carrier, and then short haul carrier for the distribution house. So every stage you see how much information you are generating. How, even if I am factory here, I should have access what the information is at warehouse, where the proper monitoring of temperature is not happening, and then when the product is reaching to end customer, the quality level we are promising, we are not able to deliver, right. So I need to find out where we are lacking. So that only I can find out when I am having access to or transparency to complete distribution network. So instead of providing these documents manually, how we can do this using blockchain technology. So these are tamper proof records. Even someone wants to do that, you cannot do that, because we are using cryptographic encryption and decentralized consensus mechanism is there, right. So anyone cannot come and alter the information. So it will enhance your visibility throughout the supply chain, and when you are having visibility, gain to full information, so obviously the more your information based decisions you can make, and find out where the errors are happening, where the defects are happening, and then in that way you can streamline the whole process. Smart contract already I talked about. Whenever the stages are executed, right, from first to second, obviously the payments should be executed in that step only, right? There should not be any human intervention to again verify the document whether we received the exact quantity. Why we need to check, open every box, and then we need to find out, okay, we packed 20 items in this box, there are 20 or not? Why you are counting manually? The weight of the box itself we can find out, the average weight should be somewhere in that limit. So that means as long as that weight is there, quickly we can check the weight, and then complete box we can say, okay, 20 items are there inside the box, right? And it will help you to reduce cost and delay, because smart contracts are there, automatically executed. So once you will set up the system, you need not to interfere in that, as long as that maintenance is not required. So it will keep on performing at the same level. So another modern concept is big data analytics, and already I talked a little bit about that. We need to track the patterns, trends, correlations, when customer is visiting, during weekends they are coming more, right? So how I can get the access to the customer related information, right? All those expectations, when customer is coming to my showroom, what are the expectation in their mind? Then what are the information or expectation if you talk about all other stakeholders, your warehousing partner, transportation partner, what performance matrices they are generating, right? Where they are right now, how we can improve that, what are the best practices? This huge data we are generating, right, within supply chain. Then we need to find out the outside world as well, right? So if you are operating in some, obviously you are not operating in isolation, other competitors are also working, how they are renovating their supply chain, you need to get that data, right? How your other players are providing the enhanced services, value adding services. Then how disruptions can come throughout the supply chain. So that whole data related to all these events, happenings, you need to track, and then you can take the decision based on that. Very small example of warehouse management, even the container, right? So how you are designing the packaging. If this is the packaging size, this is the product we talked about, right? This much product you are keeping, right? These many products you are. So you see this space inside that cartoon we are not using, right? So that how we can quickly have the access to our robot system, tracking system, we can find out where we are not utilizing the capacity. So that we can ensure. And demand forecasting, already big data analytics, we can track the patterns of the customers, their behavior, and then we can find out what is the demand function. And through big data analytics, we will have more supply chain visibility, we will have more collaboration, because that information is being shared with all the stakeholders in that supply chain, right? So all are informed. Obviously they will take less time to react to anything. If I am ordering something, immediately I will get the supply, because immediately information is being shared, right? So risk management will be in proper way, because now we are aware about when the disruption can happen. Still we cannot be 100% accurate with the forecasting, but still we can prepare that maybe there is going to be heavy rain for next 3 days, how we can mitigate with that kind of challenge, right? So those things your big data will help you to mitigate. So we'll continue this discussion in the next session. So these are the references, you can refer for detailed study. Some of the reports I have included, right? So that's all from this session. Thank you very much.